I still have the photos from my first professional branding shoot. There I am, arms crossed, trying to look businesslike, in a green blouse that fit just a little too big, feeling awkward, somewhere between holding my breath and holding a smile long enough that the photographer could grab a few shots. Well, at least 13. And all headshots, of course, in the exact same shirt, against the exact same backdrop. And every one of them screamed, I knew nothing about branding. Looking back now, those photos were the perfect representation of my brand at the time, because I was confused. I was being scrappy and I was just trying to figure it out. And I was trying to look like I was worth listening to. But with time, practice, and the experience of what works and what doesn't, now I look at my photo shoots and you can actually see me having fun, enjoying my work, and the awkwardness of it is totally gone. Most professionals that come to me feel awkward about creating their personal brand. They just don't know where to start. And it's all because they try to rush to creating assets like a website or a photo shoot, and they skip the most crucial first step. This is the same mistake I made. And today I'll show you exactly what that step is and how to get it right. Let's start off by defining what branding is. Branding is how you communicate who you are to the world. It's your actions, your choices, your decisions. It's the ways you do business, the ways you choose not to operate. It's the way you show up consistently in the world, but not just how you think you show up. It's how you actually show up in the experience of others. Let me illustrate this through an example. Have you ever had a neighborhood gossip where you live? My neighbor on the first floor, she would always have her front door open, and sometimes I would take the elevator just because of it. She would know who I came with, what time they left. She would chat them up either on their way up or down the stairs. She'd interrogate them, and she'd always have something to say about everyone that lived in the building. If someone got divorced, you heard it through her. If someone passed away, you heard it through her. If someone got COVID, you heard it through her. If someone got a promotion or a new car, she would let you know. I think we can all imagine this lady peering out the window and paying close attention to everyone else's business in life, and making sure to report what she saw like it was breaking news. Here's the thing about branding. If I asked her what she thought her branding was, how she thought she showed up in the world, for sure she would have said, friendly, caring neighbor, helpful, the type of person who looks out for others. But for everyone else, she showed up as the gossiper. This example reveals the deep truth that branding is an exercise in self-awareness. Branding is not about how you think others should experience you, but how they actually do experience you. With this, I'm not saying that what other people think or feel is your responsibility, but branding allows you to consciously put intention behind creating a certain type of experience. So what is that powerful first step in building your brand? Your brand begins with your values. Now, a lot of people, when I say values, they think of morals and ethics and right and wrong, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the characteristics and qualities that you most value, the ways of being and living that matter most to you, and that you believe are truly important and worth standing up for. So think of it like this. Your life is your game, and your values are the rules you choose to play by. They help you decide what's the right behavior or action for you to take. They help you decide how to allocate your time, your energy, and your attention, and your money. For example, if honesty is one of your values, you tell the truth even when it would be easier not to. If creativity is your value, you dedicate time to imagining new ways of doing things. So your values are going to guide how you treat yourself and others. They're going to help you decide what to do when you're faced with tough choices. They'll show you what kind of person you truly want to be, and they'll determine what gives your life and your work real meaning. The first step in creating your brand is to consciously choose which values you want to infuse in how you show up in the world. So going back in time to that first awkward photo shoot, around the same time, I asked for feedback on my brand. And I was very confident in that I knew exactly what everyone was going to say. I was sure I had a clear brand. They were going to say that I was enthusiastic, committed, and an action taker. I mean, I was working like 18-hour days. I was pushing harder than anyone I knew. But when I got the feedback and the words came up, strict, inflexible, and workaholic, it felt like someone had punched me in the gut and knocked all the wind out of me. Like, really? Me? Inflexible? Workaholic? Strict? My first instinct was just to argue with them, but then I couldn't, because when I took an honest look, that was how I was acting. I was so strict with myself and others that there was no room for mistakes. I was so inflexible that I had missed opportunities because they didn't fit my rigid plan. And workaholic? Well, the 18-hour days spoke for themselves. That moment taught me that branding is ultimately an exercise in self-awareness. And what I've learned most from having my own brand out there and visible is about consciously choosing how I want to show up. And when I get it wrong, which I still do, recognizing that my behavior was off-brand and making a new decision aligned with who I actually do want to be. Let's go a layer deeper on this because there's a landmine here to avoid. We don't want to think about branding as inherently good or bad. We want to think of it as aligned or misaligned. So let me give you an example to illustrate this. There's a newspaper where I live called the Confidential Report. It's a gossip paper. They report things people wanted to keep confidential. So being known as the gossiper is totally on brand. What they want to communicate is reliability, meaning that their gossip actually proves to be true, and a sense of helping people be the first to know. From a branding perspective, they are spot on. They have great branding aligned with what they're bringing to the world. Now, why would you not want that to be your brand? Because it probably does not resonate with your values. Now, when your behavior is not dialed in to the value you want to create, things can go sideways fast, and it can be totally off-brand. So let me illustrate with an example from my own business. When I first started teaching monetization and productization, which is my favorite thing in the world, honestly, the thing I enjoy most, helping people find new ways to make money, I went so deep that I created hours of videos. Now, I thought I was delivering service and excellence, like more content, more value. Wrong. Totally wrong. My poor clients felt like they were drinking from a fire hose. They were completely overwhelmed. They actually had to ask me to strip it down. So my behavior, creating endless content, wasn't aligned with the value of service. I was serving my need to be thorough, and I was not serving their need to actually implement and succeed. So I was acting totally off-brand and delivering an experience that was not aligned with what I wanted to create in the world. Okay, so now we're going to get tactical, then practical. I'm going to run you through a few questions to help you identify the values that are core to your brand. If you're listening to this on the go, then bookmark it and listen again when you can actually come back and write some of this out. First, think of a time when you felt truly alive, fulfilled, true to yourself. What value were you honoring? Now think of a time when you felt disappointed in yourself or you regretted something you'd done. What did you not honor at that moment? What moments of your life do you feel the most proud of? What does that tell you about what you value? Look at how you actually spend your time, your energy, and your attention. What does that say about your true priorities versus what you may say you value most? Is there congruency? Where is there incongruency? What do you believe that everyone deserves in life, no matter who they are? What would you refuse to compromise on, even if it cost you something significant? A relationship, a job, money? What would make you hold firm to yourself? Maybe you value respect, authenticity, courage, kindness, fairness, humility, loyalty. Maybe you value creativity or justice, freedom. What are those things you value most that you want to create more of in the world through the way you show up? So the second step is then to define, and I mean actually write your own definition of those values that you want to come through in your brand. For instance, if integrity is one of your core values, what does integrity mean to you? To me, it means doing what I said I would do when I said I would do it. It means honoring my word to me and to others. But you may have a completely different definition. So define what it means to you. And third, take an honest look at some of the behaviors that may be getting in the way of this. Are you seeing any gaps between what you say is important and how you actually live? One of them for me that I still struggle with is perfectionism, and it can take me totally away from my brand. So identify 2 or 3 behaviors that you engage in, and you know it, and they are at odds with the values you want to bring to the world. Now that we've defined this, the question comes up all the time. How do we work this into our brand? So let's get practical. First, this is going to come through in your brand messaging. That's in the type of content you create, your voice, your tone, the standards of your service. Whether you have a human attending to your clients or a bot that's much more efficient. Second is visual identity. So many people want to start with a logo, but all of the design elements of your brand have to reflect your core values. So when people want to jump to a color before they've ever done this exercise, then they come up with something like pink, orange, purple. And that's great if you're Baskin Robbins or Taco Bell and you want to convey a sense of youthful energy and fun and happiness and playfulness. But it won't work so well if you're working, for example, with banks, or if you want to convey a sense of trust and seriousness and authority. The third place we're going to see this is through your content strategy. So let's say, for instance, that authenticity is one of your core values. You probably would not produce an AI-generated series using your avatar, but you would get in front of the camera and make mistakes and be human. The fourth way we're going to use our values is in the client experience. You design the entire client journey so that every step along the way reflects those attributes that are most important to you. Maybe it's excellence, or maybe it's innovation. The client experience has to reflect what you want to express in the world. And finally, your unique combination of values, that's what makes you stand out. It's what resonates with others. It's what allows others to see themselves in you because they value the same things. So to wrap up, your branding is a reflection of how you want to show up in the world. It's not just some element on your website or on your business card. It's how you show up in the world no matter what is going on. So if you're waiting in a long line and you're frustrated, your branding should come through in the way you want it to. For that moment when someone asks you to compromise on what you believe in, that's another opportunity for your brand to show through. Those times when you feel overwhelmed and you just want to dump everything on someone else, that's another opportunity for your brand to come through. Every moment, challenging or easy, it doesn't matter. Every moment is a chance to be on brand or off brand. Your brand will remind you to choose who you want to be. So here's my challenge. Before you design that logo, before you hire that photographer, define your values. Go back and listen if you need to. Because once you know who you are and who you want to be, every interaction becomes an opportunity to be on brand. This is Melissa Marchand, helping accomplished professionals build consulting businesses they love. If you know someone who's struggling to bring their brand to the world, please share this episode so they start in the right place.